It's already mid-February outside, the weather is warm, plus 10 degrees, and it's time to prune the cuttings. I didn't prune them in the fall because our winter is warm, so I left everything as it is. The grape variety I have is Muldova. To cut the cuttings, we will need a regular pruner, sharp and good weather. The main thing is that there is no frost outside, so let's get started. I prune the 1-year-old cuttings, which have tendrils about 1 centimeter in diameter and have 2 or 3 buds. In my case, I use 3 buds because they root better and contain more nutrients. The stress of the cutting should be green. This indicates that it hasn't died and has vitality. Here you can see the tendril speaks a bit of a healthy vine and growth strength. We cut it. Now it is necessary to cut about 1 centimeter below the lower bud with a straight cut, and 1 centimeter above the upper bud, also with a straight cut. What a cutting we got. For sprouting, only the main vine is used, and the shoots that grew from it are trimmed. If the internodes are small, then 3-4 buds can be left. If large, then 2-3. I count 1, 2, 3 and cut 1 centimeter above with a straight tool. Here is the finished cutting that we will root. After cutting the cuttings, they need to be soaked. The fact is that in winter, the vine dries out and loses its moisture, so now it needs to be replenished to ensure the cuttings root well. For soaking, I use root stimulator and regular settled tap water. It is free of chlorine and effectively hydrates the cuttings. If you don't have root stimulator, you can use honey, which provides an equally good effect. Root stimulator. According to the instructions, for using the root stimulator, you need 1 measuring spoon per 5 liters of water. I have 10 liters of water here, so I need 2 measuring spoons. One measuring spoon contains 10 grams. Mix well to ensure there are no lumps or undissolved grains. Take a regular container. In my case, it's a water trough. Place the cuttings in it and pour the prepared solution over them. After this, the cuttings should stand in the prepared solution for about 1 to 2 days. This will be enough for them to absorb moisture. The prepared solution can be reused after use. It will be useful for watering and rooting the cuttings. A day after soaking, we take the cuttings out of the solution and leave them for an hour to air out slightly. After soaking, it is necessary to seal the top cut of the cutting with something to prevent moisture loss, which is very important for sprouting. You can use plasticine or paraffin. I use natural beeswax, as it is the most natural and suitable for growing seedlings. For this, you need to make a water bath. Place a container with water on the stove. Take another container, I use one from a can, and cut the wax into small pieces. Into it. The wax is hard and cuts poorly. You can also grate it. Place this container in the water and wait until it boils on low heat. While the wax is melting, it's necessary to determine which side of the cutting is up and which is down, because if we mix them up, it won't work. If you look closely at the cutting, you can see that the buds are strictly positioned upwards. There are also remnants of tendrils, which can point downwards or sideways, so they shouldn't confuse you. In this case, the top of the cutting is here. The wax has started to melt. We wait until it completely fills the bottom of the container. After the wax has melted, we'll start dipping the cuttings into it. The cuttings need to be dipped shallowly, literally to a depth of 5 millimeters, so as not to burn the top bud, which is located nearby. We cut 1 centimeter from the bud. Some say that this bud should also be covered with wax, so it will open later and the cutting will root better. But I believe this is incorrect, because it can easily be burned with regular wax. We dip it for just a few seconds. And after that, you get this kind of cap, which will prevent moisture from evaporating anywhere. It is preferable for the cutting to be dry here, as the wax will adhere better. And it will retain less moisture. After this, it is necessary to refresh the lower cut using pruning shears or a sharp knife by literally 2 to 3 millimeters. And with the help of a regular, sharp utility knife, make small incisions. Approximately 4 of them up to this bud, which is on top. I will cut off this bud. This is where the rooting took place. This cutting is ready for sprouting. Then I take regular settled tap water. I add literally a pinch of root growth stimulant to it and mix it. Ideally, the water should be at room temperature or even warmer. Some gardeners rub the root growth stimulant into the cuts that remain at the bottom. I believe that adding the root growth stimulant to the water is quite sufficient for good rooting of the cuttings. There are about 4 centimeters of water in the container, and this is quite enough to cover the lower cut bud and the incisions we made. In the previous video, when rooting grape cuttings, I used an angled cut at the bottom. Now I am making a straight cut, as recommended by some amateur gardeners. And another difference is that last time I made notches and grooves with a saw, but now I am using a sharp knife. Let's see what the difference is. And immediately after cutting, we immerse the cutting in water for germination. After this, I will leave the cuttings in a cool place. The temperature in my room is plus 18 degrees Celsius, and we will wait until they sprout. I will check the water level and its quality approximately once a week. If it starts to bloom, it will need to be changed. Some gardeners recommend adding potassium permanganate and activated charcoal to this water, which will prevent it from blooming over time. But I don't practice this. It's better to change the water more frequently. And it will contain more beneficial microelements found in tap water that aid in rooting. Last year I skipped this step and planted the cuttings directly into the soil, but for some reason about 30% of them didn't take root. I had to throw away the soil from the cup I made. I believe it's a waste of time and money, so it's better to root them using this method. Cuttings for sprouting. I will place them in a dark place. Here I have a pipe in the floor from the heating, and the room is cool, so theoretically the rooting of the cuttings should occur faster than the development of their leaves.
Here they have been standing with us for 2 weeks, in a warm place on the windowsill near the radiator. Leaves have appeared, small roots, about 1 centimeter long. Now they need to be planted in the soil. I will tell you how this is done further on. The cuttings already have distinctly developed foliage. If 2 buds were opening simultaneously, I would pinch one off, resulting in 1 sprouted bud. The leaves are green. I placed them on the sunny side of the window. Therefore, they didn't stretch too much and had enough sunlight. So how do we do this? Plant them in the soil. For this, you need to prepare special containers. Here, I have already prepared a small number of them. There is a special tray here for collecting water. They are made from regular beer bottles. I use the 1.25 litre bottles from Obalon beer, suit me best. This is used to make the cup. To make the tray, you need a larger container. These are 2-litre bottles from Baikal, but bottles from beer or any drink can also work. How is this done? To make the cup, take a sharp knife of any configuration, take the bottle, and cut off the top at the narrowing of the upper part. Now, to ensure good water drainage, make small slits in each other leg of the bottle with the same knife. This will be quite sufficient to drain excess water when watering the grapes. Now the cup itself is ready. Now take a 2-litre bottle and cut off the bottom part. There is a molded strip here. With the same sharp knife, now we have a wonderful tray for the glass in which the grape will grow. Now you need to take the sprouted grape cutting and plant it in the soil. For planting the cutting in the soil, we will need our container with a tray. We will need cuttings, a shovel, in this case a children's shovel, which is very convenient to use, for sand, masking tape, scissors, and a pen. You will also need soil, which you can prepare yourself, but I bought store-bought. It's called Substrate for Sowing and Propagation, Universal. It already contains fertilizers from the brand Florio, a completely ready-to-use mix. Most likely our grape will grow well in it. We take the sprouted cutting, on which the roots are clearly visible. This is the Vodogre variety. There are leaves, and we will proceed to plant it. For this, we take a small shovel and pour soil into the container. First, we pour about 5 centimeters of soil mix at the bottom. After that, we carefully place our seedling and fill the remaining part of the cutting with the soil mix. We fill the soil mix up to the top of the container, as it will decrease in volume with further tamping. After the seedling is planted in the container, it needs to be watered with settled water. The water should ideally be at a comfortable room temperature, such as around 20 degrees Celsius, to avoid freezing the roots later on. The water is well absorbed into the soil mix. About 150 grams of water is poured in to thoroughly soak and compact the soil. You can see that the water is going down from the cup, and the excess will exit through the hole. We place a tray underneath. And this is how it turns out. To avoid mixing up the varieties after planting, I use a piece of paper tape. The necessary length of tape is cut and attached to the container. The variety is written here with a pen or pencil. For us, this is how it turned out to be colored. Now, we place the cutting in a warm, sunny spot, watering it periodically, like regular houseplants, and at the beginning of May, or the end of May, depending on the air temperature and weather, it can be planted in the ground.